and welcome back to my channel. If you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Ava Death Dolly. Yes, I'm 58. Yeah, I'm not so young, but hey, I'm still in the game. Listen, today I want to talk about something that's starting to get under my skin. And while it's been a debate more recently among fellow trans people, it's really become a tool of our attackers online, particularly, especially on Facebook. And I do see it elsewhere, but mostly on Facebook. I see it in most places by people who are trying to troll us and trash our videos. And I see this also on Instagram and basically all meta platforms, pretty much. Not so much on Blue Sky, but where applicable. The people that seem to want to troll us want to talk us about voice training. Now, understand. When I initially came up, I came up in the 1990s, okay? So I came out in 1995. Back then, the name of the game was simulation. If you were a sex worker, you did what you had to do to survive. Basically, all of us had to do what we had to do to survive. I tried to make it in the legitimate film world, and it was tough, and often we weren't taken very seriously, but I managed to carve myself out a living. But it was difficult until the party ended after 9/11. So it took me a while to come back. So coming back all these years later, starting in late 2023, I noticed that certain things have changed. But this topic of voice training now it's taken on a different dimension. You see, for most trans people, voice training is a matter of assimilation. Now, you skinny puppy fans out there, you know exactly where I'm about to go with this. That's like, assimilate me, assimilate. Wait a minute, who are we doing this for? Are we doing it to fit in with the female population, or are we doing this for survival, or are we really doing this for someone else's comfort level? Listen, I know you've heard this from other people that hormones aren't going to change your voice. My voice has changed significantly through the use of hormones, okay? And enough estrogen over time will make your voice higher. It may not sound like a biological female, but it will make it much higher and somewhat feminine. Okay, there's no doubt about it. And I've seen the same in the opposite direction where trans mass. I've seen them go from female voices to very androgynous, male-sounding voices to downright deep, masculine voices that sound more manly than I could have ever done back in my time. But, give it time, a little patience. I mean, if this is something you choose to do because you feel that this is what you need to do, I say absolutely go for it, absolutely. I'm not going to stop you, I wouldn't take the surgery route. I have a friend that actually did that surgery route, and they're fine, but I won't be seeing them singing in front of any bands anymore because, that vocal cord thing, it's like, okay. But for the rest of you, particularly femmes, those of you who are, maybe perhaps you're Gen X, maybe you're around my age, maybe you came out late, or maybe you've reached that point in your life where you frankly don't give a fuck. Okay, you're trans. World knows you're trans. Big fucking deal to you. It doesn't matter to you. I'm one of these people, of course. I don't give a shit. Ask me, are you trying to be a woman? I was like, no, I'm being me. That's the way I look at it. I'm a femme. I was like, I love the people that say, oh, you're never gonna be a woman, or you're trying to be a woman. And it's like, no. Not really. I mean, my aesthetic is female, of course. Actually, to be more bluntly, it's not female, it is feminine. Remember what I've said in my other previous videos. Femininity is not the sole domain of biological women. Truth. Some women have it, some don't. Just like masculinity. Some men have it, some have some, not enough, and some just don't have it at all. And some will never know what that feels like because maybe they were fortunate enough to have a loving family that they can come out to at an early age and experience the joys of testosterone blockers. Maybe, whatever the case may be, we have to ask ourselves as a community, if your goal is assimilation into the female population, by all means, voice train. By all means, assimilate. If that's what you want to do. Me, I'm a camera whore. I won't deny it. I mean, I've been on a lot of TV shows. I've been on a lot of movies. In fact, I've probably been on all your living rooms at one point or another throughout the 1990s. You know, I've been on everything from the Drew Carey Show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, both versions of Angel. I've been in movies like 8mm, Father's Day, and sci-fi shows like Babylon 5. I've been there, okay? I've been there, I've been on it, I got the photos to prove it. I've met a lot of famous people, all that stuff. And then I'll asked to take their picture with me. I almost never have to go to them. They always come to me, you know. And why? Because they find us rather unique. And while it may not be advantageous for some people to live in a way that says, oh yes, I am trans, you know, I get it, I understand, and you have to do what you have to do to survive, okay? This is a very dangerous time, especially with now a second state looking to revoke driver's licenses and looking just basically, they're not trying to promote, you know, gender accuracy or biological accuracy or accuracy on any level. No, they're just trying to put us in dangerous situations so we get fucked with or killed, flat out. And this is the tools of a dying patriarchy that's desperate. A dying white male patriarchy, may I add, who's afraid of the number 2043. Yeah, our brothers and sisters of color, they know exactly what we're talking about, and they've been salivating at this. But this is why Stephen Miller's been so obsessed with deporting all brown and people that they can do, because, hey, if they can reduce the population, just maybe, the poor white race might rise again. You know, give me a fucking break. That ain't gonna happen. You know, the fact of the matter is, it's a changing world. People evolve. Nations evolve. If you're trans, you and I have evolved. In fact, I love to say, no, I'm not trying to be a woman. I am the next stage of human evolution. Deal with it. So, used to be 6 feet tall. Hormones have made me shrink a little bit. So now I'm around 5'11", okay? I used to be able to do 40 push-ups. Can't do them anymore. I lost a lot of muscle mass. But you know what? I gained some things here, I gained something there, I gave a lot of here, and hey, you know what? I'm happy with it. And so what? I mean, for most people, I can walk among the female population and almost nobody notices me or can identify me as trans until I speak. And yeah, I will throw my voice when I go through a drive-thru because I don't like being called sir, okay? And yeah, there are these moments, but for the most part, I don't give a shit. You know? This is my voice. I mean, I could try to sound, but you know, it's like, do you really want to go around sounding like a fake Marilyn Monroe? Ask yourself that. Is that what you really want to do? And are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for someone else's comfort level? Someone discomfort level, excuse me. You know, discomfort level of other people. We don't live for them. They don't pay our bills. So fuck them, you know? That's my view on this whole thing, you know? If you don't have to do this for survival, then don't. Be yourself, you know? Hey, you know? Hey, I grew up punk rock, all right? You know? Punk rock and death rock, and of course being Generation X, we don't like being told what to do. We make our own rules. So fuck everyone who tells us, you must voice train, you must do whatever. But again, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. You must do what you must choose to do in order to survive, in order to fit in, maybe for work, for whatever reasons. But ultimately, you must do it for you. For me, I don't give a rat's ass. I really don't. You know, it's like, so what if I don't sound female? I'm not trying to. I'm a femme, okay? Femme is more about aesthetics and living a certain life, you know, and I am. And no, this isn't just glorified cross-dressing. Again, I am on HRT. I am getting my FFS. I am getting a breast augmentation. I have all my letters. I have everything I need. I just haven't had the scheduling done because I haven't found a doctor I liked, or I haven't found a place to recover yet because I'm currently in between housing due to discrimination. But that's my personal story. So you have to ask yourself again, if you are considering voice training, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for them? Our critics? I mean, you could spend a lot of money voice training. You might even be good at it. You might suck at it. You might beat yourself over the head over it because you still don't sound like the ideal woman you want to sound like. Me, I was a little more realistic about the whole thing. Originally, I wanted to sound I wanted to sound like my favorite Persian actress, who was starred in The Expanse. She had a deep, raspy voice and said, I'll do whatever I goddamn like. Miss Aguilar-Shoe. Oh yes, I love you so much. Or Catherine Deneuve in The Hunger. She was so elegant, so unique, and I love that. And yes, I can do that when I have to, in occasion, but for the rest of us, we all end up sounding like a bad imitation of Marilyn Monroe. I mean, Rudy Giuliani sounds like us in some extreme bad cases. Okay, you don't want to do that. I mean, ask yourself, is that what you really want to do? I don't think so. I mean, maybe with enough voice training, you'll be okay. Okay, but again, ask yourself, who are you doing this for? Are you doing it for you? Are you doing it for survival? Or are you doing it for someone else's discomfort level? And I say to you, never do it for anyone else's discomfort level. Fuck them. They're not paying your bills. They're just going to jump on you for any stupid thing that's out of place. And this is why when people criticize me and say, why are you always so goddamn dressed up all the time? Of course, right now I'm not, but, I said, because I have to. Because if I don't, people are looking for flaws. If they suspect you're trans, they're looking for the one flaw so they can say, aha, you're not a woman, or aha, you're trans, or aha. That's like, you'll never be this, you'll never be that. And I say, I don't give a rat's ass. Of course, I've never had anyone try that to my face. I'm kind of big, so I may intimidate a few people. I don't know what the deal is. I've had some men that are 3 times my size stand within 5 feet of me, huff and puff, and look like they were gonna blow a fucking vein, but still didn't do shit or say anything. Why? Probably because they know I'm probably going to fucking go straight for their nuts. Punk rock, violence. No, I don't want to do that. No, but yeah, castrate them? Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, I used to be married to a member of the castration squad, okay? I know. Okay, folks, listen. Voice training is all about choice, really. Again, you're faced with that situation of either A, you must simulate to blend in, hide, become invisible. If that's your deal, do it thou must. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to try to discourage you. I mean, your situation may be vastly different than mine. I happen to live in a very liberal area, which is also, unfortunately, a tourist town. So I do run into America's finest once in a while, and I find them terribly amusing because in small numbers, they just lack the courage that they seem to always have on behind a keyboard on the internet, of course. But hey, it is what it is, and after a while, they're going to just move on to something else because we're going to survive these fuckers. All going to survive them, unless you give in. And I say, darlings, it ain't worth it. Don't let anyone talk you into detransitioning. Don't let anybody intimidate you to staying in the closet. Live your life, live visibly. Like I said in my last video, it's a big fuck you to MAGA, They hate it. They hate seeing us visible. They hate seeing us happy because they're going out of their way to make us unhappy because these fools have been totally convinced that we're responsible for everything that's wrong in their lives. Shows you how ignorant they are. They didn't learn from the Holocaust. They're ignoring the illegal war that this insane, demented, syphilis-ridden man has caused and is waging. And they're ignoring everything else around them, and they're happy to pay their $7, $8 for a gallon of gas, and that's stupid. But regardless of what their problems are, we're not the cause. We're not the cause. We're just a distraction for the time being, and eventually they'll move on to something else, and you know it. So again, if you choose to voice train, do so. You know, if it is a need that you feel you have to do so. If you feel you need to get surgery, do so. But do it for you. Don't do it for them. And if you're like me and you just say, well, fuck these assholes, I don't give a fuck, why should I bother? You're not alone. You know, it was like that time that I ran into an old friend of mine who used to be the singer of Christian Death. You know, I happened to dress up like David Bowie in a corset and, you know, a regular, like, you know, almost like a men's suit, but with a female corset over it. And I just happened to run into him on Sunset Boulevard. He's wearing the same exact thing. And we're going, hey, look, we shop at the same place. Total Beetlejuice moment, but there you go. These things happen, okay? So you're not alone if you feel the way I do. You're going, why should I fucking beat myself over the head and try to live up to someone else's standard? No, 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 no. You live for you. Always live for you. Okay, my sisters? And same thing with my transmass brothers. I doubt you're watching, but if you are, you know, do what thou must. Do what thou wilt. Harm to none. Love is the law, babies. You know, this is how it is. You know? I mean, don't let the societal pressures dictate how you're going to live. If you've decided to step out of the closet, you've decided to live your life, become visible, live for you, okay? Know thyself, be thyself, all right? But live for you and not for anyone else's discomfort level. Okay, babies, that's all I have to say on the matter. So, do what thou wilt. Love is the law. See you next time. Bye.